Understanding Gemini. Think about the last time you had to make sense of scattered information, emails from 3 different people, the notes you took, a PDF report, and some reading materials that you barely touched. And the most challenging part is that you need to go through all of this as soon as possible. If this sounds familiar, the Gemini is what you need. Its strength lies in handling exactly such challenges, and you will learn how in this guide. Before we start, what do you think is the hardest part in this kind of situation? Finding the time to read and connect everything together, understanding the content of each individual piece, remembering where you saved each file. Meet Gemini. Gemini is Google's AI assistant that excels at synthesis work. That is, not only can it process multiple inputs together and reason across them to answer complex questions, but it is also arguably the best choice for this type of task. Gemini works with 4 main types of input: screenshots and photos, various document formats, PDFs, docs, etc., tables and CSVs, plain text. Choosing the right format increases clarity and reduces guesswork. How Gemini works. Let's see this in practice. Imagine you're preparing for an important meeting and you have scattered information: a few documents with key details, email threads with different people, some notes you took earlier, screenshots or images related to the topic. Normally, you'd open each file separately, read through everything, and try to remember how it all connects. That takes time and mental energy. However, with Gemini, you can upload everything at once and ask one question: based on everything here, what are the main points I need to know? After that, Gemini will read across all your materials and give you a synthesized answer. So, to solidify your understanding, what would Gemini handle well in the context of this task? Identifying patterns between emails, notes, and data, creating structured outputs from messy inputs, comparing information across multiple documents. Good job. Now that you've learned what Gemini is best at, let's try to actually communicate with it. After seeing Gemini's answer, what do you think made the prompt effective? It clearly states what materials were shared and what specific information is needed. It uses professional language that sounds more formal. It's very short, so Gemini processes it faster. After seeing Gemini's answer, what do you think made... Overall, getting good results from Gemini comes down to being clear in your requests. The more specific you are, the better Gemini can help. In the upcoming lessons, you'll learn more techniques for working with Gemini effectively. But this approach is your starting point. Gemini features. What makes Gemini capable of handling complex tasks efficiently is its features. For example, one of these features is modes: fast mode, for high volume, everyday tasks; thinking mode, for complex problems that need careful analysis; pro mode, for advanced technical challenges. Each mode is created to approach different kinds of work in the most optimized way. So you can match the mode to your task's complexity. This flexibility means Gemini adapts to what you're doing, not the other way around. Apart from modes, Gemini also offers specialized tools for different types of work. Create image and create video. Generate visual content from prompts. Create music. Produce original music. Deep research. Multi-step research with structured summaries. Canvas. Draft and refine longer documents. Guided learning. Interactive, step-by-step explanations. In this guide, you'll explore 3 particularly powerful tools: image and music creation, and deep research. This will allow you to unlock your creativity and tackle the most complex questions as effectively as possible. In turn, if you're also interested in creating videos with Gemini, then you can check out the guide about VO. After completing this one, where Gemini has limits. Last but not least, even the newest AI models have blind spots, so you need to know about it too. For example, Gemini might not know about every recent event, can sometimes make guesses when it's unsure, takes more time for complex tasks, should not replace human judgment when making decisions. Therefore, you need to always keep these things in mind while using Gemini and other AI tools. Now, with the essentials covered, let's test your understanding of how to work with Gemini. You want Gemini to help you understand a complex topic by reading several articles. What's the most effective way to ask? Upload the articles and say, explain the main ideas from these articles in simple terms. What do you think about this? With no specific question. Upload articles and say, read these. Just say, tell me about this topic without uploading anything. It's Friday afternoon and you need to quickly process 200 customer feedback responses. Which mode makes sense? Thinking mode, pro mode, fast mode. When should you double check Gemini's work before using it? Never, because Gemini is designed to be accurate. Only when working with numbers or calculations, because Gemini often fails in this type of tasks. When Gemini seems uncertain in its response. When the information will be used for important decisions or shared with others. You're ready to start. You now understand what makes Gemini different, its strength in synthesis across formats, its modes and tools for different tasks, and where it excels versus where you need to stay careful. You also know the basics of how to communicate effectively with it, clear inputs, specific tasks, and defined outputs. What's next? This lesson was your foundation. Next, you'll learn how to use Gemini's tools in real workflows and how to apply advanced prompting techniques that make Gemini even more effective. As a result, by the end of this guide, you'll know exactly how to leverage Gemini's capabilities for the work you actually do. Let's keep going. Turning ideas into clear writing. No more drowning in rough drafts and scattered notes. It's time to explore how to use Gemini as a writing partner, one that can take incomplete thoughts or long, messy paragraphs and turn them into polished, structured work. By the end of this lesson, you'll know how to turn raw notes into clear drafts, reshape text without losing meaning, adapt it for any audience, and produce ready-to-use writing for work or personal projects. Let's go. From notes to narrative. Most writing begins as fragments, bullet points, half sentences, messy thoughts. Gemini is designed to help you turn those fragments into something that feels coherent and intentional. Instead of rewriting everything yourself, you can hand Gemini your roughest notes and ask it to build the skeleton of a draft. Then you shape, refine, and guide it. Why Gemini works well with notes. Raw notes contain the essentials, key points, ideas, and moments of clarity. Gemini can detect relationships between ideas, missing transitions, implied structure, natural ordering, opportunities for clarity. This makes it easy to turn scattered thinking into something presentable. From notes to a draft. Imagine you are part of a local flower bouquet business, and we're taking notes as your manager spoke on your 2026 plans. 2026 planning. Notes. Year of signature style. No copy pasting Pinterest. Focus. Local loyalty, not tourists only. Weddings are $dollars. Prioritize micro weddings and elopement florals. Add same-day delivery again, but only within 8 kilometers. Logistics. Subscription bouquets for offices. Weekly. Need pricing. People want experience, not just bouquet. Workshops. Even kids. Messy. one step at a time. Notice how much cleaner that is? The key is thinking in layers when you write your prompt. Content, the raw ideas. Structure, the order and grouping. Style, tone, clarity, pacing. Format, bullets, paragraphs, summaries, scripts, etc. A strong prompt doesn't demand perfection. It guides Gemini through these layers, giving Gemini the right signals. The more context you give, the better the result. Useful signals to include the audience, manager, customer, friend, general reader. The format, email, brief, summary, article, post. The purpose, inform, persuade, clarify, summarize. Length level, short, medium, long. This makes Gemini's first draft much closer to what you need. Which prompts would lead to a better output from Gemini? Write something about this topic. Turn these points into a clear article, with an intro, 3 sections, and a closing insight. Fix these notes to look better. Using my notes, draft a concise, 1-page summary for a general audience. Improving existing writing. Drafting from scratch isn't the only thing Gemini can do. Got something written, but not quite right? Gemini can clarify meaning, simplify dense passages, tighten loose sentences, adjust tone, improve flow, or fix grammar. You stay in control. Gemini helps you explore possibilities. Deep research for meaningful writing. Gemini can do more than polish your sentences. It can help you think. Deep research allows Gemini to pull together patterns, insights, perspectives, and contextual knowledge that strengthen your ideas. Instead of getting a generic draft, you get one enriched with reasoning, examples, and clear structure. You can ask Gemini to explore different angles or interpretations, surface the core tension or opportunity in your topic. Tone and audience. Adaptation. Tone matters as much as content. You can ask Gemini to rewrite text in styles such as professional, friendly, direct, neutral, analytical, motivational, or tailored to audiences like teammates, customers, executives, or learners. Expanding or correcting content. Sometimes a draft isn't wrong. It just needs more or less. Gemini can expand when you need depth or trim when you need brevity. You can ask it to fill in missing context, suggest examples, explain concepts to beginners, reorganize a long piece into sections. This is especially useful when preparing content for presentations, emails, or documentation. From prompt to final product, Gemini can produce ready-to-use text, emails, briefs, articles, summaries, scripts, and more. The key is giving it your goal, your audience, your style preference, your constraints, length, tone, format. The clearer your intent, the closer the output matches your expectations. Useful draft formats. Gemini can also adapt a single idea into multiple formats instantly. You can request formats like email templates, outlines, multi-section articles, bullet summaries, proposals, guides or tutorials, FAQs, step-by-step instructions. Great job! You covered a lot today. You turned loose ideas into clear writing, strengthened rough drafts, shaped tone and structure, and produced polished text for real scenarios. Even better, you built prompting patterns that help Gemini get what you want and deliver steady, reliable results. Next up, technical tasks made simple. Our next lesson moves from writing skills to hands-on technical problem solving. You'll see how to use Gemini to explain code in plain language and generate useful scripts or fixes without needing advanced expertise. See you there. Create without knowing code. Hey, today you'll learn how to build simple, visual things with Gemini, even if you've never written code before. Gemini can turn plain descriptions or rough sketches into clean code, explain what it does, and help you improve it using everyday language. And you can use it as a starting point to build a website. No coding background needed. Tech tasks made simple. Let's put it this way. Code is simply instructions written for a computer. Gemini's job here is to translate your words into a language the computer understands, and back. From machine instructions into human words you get. Beginner-friendly, HTML, CSS. HTML and CSS are the simplest parts of coding because you can see what each part does. HTML describes what shows up on a page. CSS describes how it looks. Colors, layouts, spacing. You don't need to write these languages yourself. Gemini does the technical part. You guide the design. Describe what you want. To create something, you don't need technical instructions. You can simply say, make a centered title with a short paragraph below it. Add a friendly button at the bottom. Create a section with 3 cards in a row. Gemini turns these plain descriptions into working code. Describe a simple page. As you see, you can create a web page without knowing any code. Just describe what you want to see. For example, create a simple page with a big title, a short paragraph, and a button centered underneath. Gemini reads this as a layout. Title at the top, paragraph below it. Button centered. Clean spacing and alignment. Then it generates HTML, CSS that builds the page exactly as described. What you can do with the code. Once Gemini generates the code, you can immediately create something real. Preview it online by pasting it into any HTML, CSS editor. Save it as an .html file and open it in your browser. Use it as a prototype for a landing page or concept. Share it with teammates or friends to gather feedback. Add more elements by asking Gemini to update the snippet. This way, you're learning to build things with code, using Gemini as your builder. Example, making a simple web card. If you say, make a web card with a photo on top, a title, and a short line of text, Gemini gives you a small box, a top image, text underneath, and balanced spacing. You can update it easily by saying, make the corners rounder, or add a shadow, or use softer colors. Gemini updates the code automatically. Choose the prompt that gives Gemini clearer guidance. Create a simple card with a photo, title, and short text in a clean layout. Write HTML and CSS for a card type design. Add elements that make sense. Multimodal inputs for website building. You can upload a screenshot, sketch, or photo of a layout. Gemini can detect sections and buttons, spacing and alignment, color patterns, and relative sizing. This means your rough drawing can become a real web page. Here's my sketch. Imagine you draw a sketch on paper with a large title, 3 equal boxes below it, a small footer at the bottom. Gemini can turn that drawing into clean HTML, CSS. You don't need labels or measurements. It understands the layout at a glance. Make it mobile friendly. If your layout should also look good on a phone, just say, make this layout stack vertically on small screens. Gemini adds the responsive CSS automatically. No technical knowledge required again. Use plain language to improve code. You can change anything with simple instructions. Make the text larger. Use a darker color. Add space around the card. Center everything. Gemini updates the code each time. Debugging without stress. If something looks wrong, misaligned text, uneven spacing, odd colors, Gemini can identify the issue, explain it in simple words, fix it, and show what changed. You don't troubleshoot, Gemini does. Use natural speech, not technical jargon. Instead of trying to diagnose code error messages, try asking things like, why doesn't the image show up? Why is this button off center? Can you fix the spacing? Gemini interprets the problem and updates the code. Way to go. You learned how to create simple, clean web layouts without knowing code. You practiced, describing visual ideas. Gemini turns into HTML/CSS using sketches or screenshots as references, updating layouts with plain language, fixing small issues confidently. You now have the tools to create pages, components, and simple interfaces, all with creativity and clarity. See you soon. Get ready to level up. Your next lesson takes you from words on a page to visuals that stand out. You'll turn simple prompts into eye-catching images, reshape existing visuals with smart edits, and design polished professional assets. Let's go. Visual creativity made simple. Welcome back. Today you'll explore yet another one of Gemini's talents. We'll see how Gemini generates and transforms images using NanoBanana, the engine that powers the system's imagination. NanoBanana helps Gemini understand your descriptions, apply style cues, and edit visuals with precision, even if you're not a designer. Let's get started. Getting started with NanoBanana. NanoBanana is the visual engine inside Gemini, the part responsible for turning ideas into images. When you ask Gemini to create or edit a picture, it's NanoBanana that handles the imagination, composition, lighting, and style work. You won't see NanoBanana as a separate tool. It works inside Gemini quietly, improving how your prompts become visuals. When you describe a scene, upload an image, or ask for changes, NanoBanana interprets those instructions and produces the final artwork. What NanoBanana brings to your creativity. NanoBanana gives Gemini a fast, imaginative visual layer. It can understand detailed descriptions, translate ideas into images, apply lighting, style, and composition cues, make consistent image sets, adjust or rewrite visuals based on feedback. You focus on the idea. NanoBanana handles the imagery. You don't need artistic terms. You can say things like, a calm workspace with soft lighting, a simple icon shaped like a star, a clean banner for a presentation. NanoBanana builds the visual interpretation from your words. Building a strong image prompt. As you see, Gemini responds best to prompts that include the main subject, mood or style, the setting, colors or lighting, and level of detail. You don't need all of them, but a clear purpose helps Nano Banana shape the output for any goal. Creating a clean presentation banner. Let's look at an example. If you ask to create a clean blue banner with simple shapes and a friendly headline area, Nano Banana interprets a horizontal layout, soft colors, minimalist design, open space for text. You get a polished banner, ready to use. Editing by commands. It's not necessarily about creating new visuals all the way. With Nano Banana, you can also edit an existing image by simply requesting the changes. For this, upload any picture and ask Gemini to replace objects, adjust colors, expand the background, clean up elements, change lighting, remove distractions. Let's practice with this image of kids playing in the snow. Images for work, presentations, and marketing. Nano Banana's output can be used directly in slides, social posts, product ideas, reports, landing pages, or internal documentation. You can generate icons, banners, hero sections, diagrams, or concept art quickly. Designing a simple icon set. For example, you say, give me 3 simple icons with the same style, a laptop, a cloud, and a spark. Nano Banana creates a consistent set with matching shapes, colors, outlines, and proportions, ideal for presentations or small UI elements. Why style consistency matters. When creating multiple images, consistency builds trust. Nano Banana can follow a visual guideline across outputs by copying color palettes, matching shapes, keeping textures similar, aligning lighting, reusing composition patterns. This helps you build cohesive sets. Reusing a style prompt. Give Gemini a style once, then reuse it. Use the same soft, rounded illustration style as the last image. Nano Banana continues in the same artistic direction automatically. You don't need to repeat every detail. Bringing everything together. In this lesson, you learned how to generate images with Nano Banana, edit visuals with simple instructions, and create consistent, high-quality assets for real-world use. You now know how to describe visuals clearly, refine pictures without design tools, build cohesive sets of banners, icons, and illustrations. Gemini gives you the confidence to create professional images from scratch. What's next? Nice work. You've create music and soundscapes with AI. You've seen Gemini handle text, data, and images. But there's one thing that still catches people off guard. It can create original music too. Most people think making music requires talent, tools, or years of practice. With Gemini, all you need is an idea. Let's try it. Meet Lyria. Behind Gemini's music creation is Lyria, the engine that turns your words into sound. You won't see it as a separate tool. It works quietly inside Gemini, handling everything: composition, instrumentation, vocals, and production. All you do is describe what you want. Lyria will figure out the rest. Moreover, you don't need musical terms to do it well. You can say things like, a calm morning song with acoustic guitar, an energetic workout track with heavy drums, a peaceful background score for a travel video. Lyria will build the musical interpretation from your words alone. What do you think makes Lyria different from standalone music creation tools? It works conversationally. You can refine tracks through chat without starting over. It generates multiple versions simultaneously, so you can pick the best one. It lets you export tracks in any format, including stems for mixing. It analyzes your existing music library to match your personal style. Thus, through effective prompting, you can create background music for videos and presentations, intro and outro themes for podcasts or webinars, branded soundtracks for product demos, multilingual tracks for regional campaigns, motivational playlists for team events. Let's see how it's done. How to access the music tool. In the Gemini app, open the Tools menu and click the Create Music button, the one with the music note icon. That opens the music creation interface. Understanding the interface. When you open Create Music, you'll see a screen titled Pick a Track to Remix, a set of ready-made styles like 90s rap, folk ballad, workout, and more. Each one is a starting point you can preview and customize. At the bottom, a prompt field lets you add your own instructions to shape the result. Remix tracks are the fastest way to get started. Instead of building from zero, you choose a style, like folk ballad. Add your own description. Generate a new version inspired by that bass. The selected track sets the overall vibe and instrumentation. Your prompt then refines the mood, tempo, lyrics, or atmosphere. And here it is, a full track built from a bass.
The air still smells like summer rain, and sunbeams through the window pane. The piano played that.
Taking it further. Not bad for 3 parameters, right? Now, imagine what happens when you give Gemini more to work with. The more layers you add, the more precise the result. Genre or era. 90s hip-hop, modern pop mood or emotion. Energetic, melancholic. Instrumentation, piano, drums, guitar. Tempo, slow build, fast and fast and steady vocals, male, female, or no vocals at all. Let's see what happens when we keep the same track, but change 2 things, tempo and vocals. Hear the difference? Same instruments as before, but with a faster tempo and male vocals. The whole mood shifts.
The air still smells like summer rain, and sunbeams through the window pane, and in that light.
Creating music from images. So far, you've described music in words, but words aren't the only way in. You can also hand Gemini an image and let it do the listening. This is called image to audio. Gemini analyzes the colors, mood, and composition of a photo, then composes music that matches what it sees. This is especially useful at work. Upload a slide deck, a product photo, or any visual, and Gemini composes a matching soundtrack for it. You can use image to audio for travel vlog soundtracks, upload scenery, get matching music. Product videos, upload photos, generate branded tracks. Presentation themes, upload slides, create audio atmosphere. Digital vision boards, upload inspiration, get motivational music. Remember the image of kids playing in the snow from the last lesson? Let's turn that into a track. There it is, a full track.
Yeah, I remember those days, black and white winters and snowy haze.
Editing lyrics. What do you do if the music is perfect, but the lyrics don't quite fit? You don't have to start over. Just ask Gemini to rewrite them, while keeping everything else the same. Try. Change the lyrics, but keep the rhythm, tone, and genre the same. This is where the conversational advantage shines. Once you have a track, you can keep shaping it through chat. Add a saxophone solo at the end. Make the drums louder. Speed it up and add more energy. Gemini will adjust each time without losing what's already working. This is like collaborating with a producer who instantly understands your vision. Changing the language. Want to take it even further? You can change the entire song's language with a single request. For example, if you prompt something like, change this song to French while keeping the rhythm, tone, and genre the same, you can get this as a result.
Je repense à la galère, le moral à zéro. Maintenant je suis au sommet, c'est un nouveau départ, un nouveau blaze. J'ai charbonné pour ça, j'ai laissé mon âme. C'est le sentiment d'avoir touché le ciel. Une force sacrée.
Great work. You now know how Lyria works inside Gemini to turn your ideas into original music. Whether you're describing a track in words, generating sound from images, or refining existing compositions through conversation, that's a complete toolkit for creating professional quality audio without musical training. Path forward. With Gemini's creative tools now under your belt, images and music, you're ready for Unit 2, where you'll explore multi-step workflows and automations. See you there.